Our next guest is a top doc who's here to help you master your mindset and thrive in the real world. Her new book, Big Trust, is out now. So let's say hi to the fabulous Dr Shadé Zahrai!
Oh, I'm so happy to hear it.
I read these books for a living, you know. I've read thousands of these books, not hundreds, thousands. This is one of the best I've ever read. It's wall-to-wall gold, so congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Let's just dive straight in.
Let's do it.
Quacky Duck may be the best reframe I've ever heard. It's all about reframing. It's not all about reframing, but it's a big part of the big piece of the joke, a big part of the puzzle. That's the chuckle. I don't know. Tell us about Quacky Duck.
Quacky Duck. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to take you back. I was working in a call center, and it was a call center in a bank, and so we would receive inbound calls.
Yes.
Now, what kind of calls do you think we were receiving?
Very complaining.
Very complaining.
Very moany.
Very moany.
Yeah.
To the point that we would have people on the floor need to take a break because they were so emotionally upset by what was happening. Okay, so management needed to do something because morale was plummeting and engagement was plummeting and they were losing people. So they did something genius. They handed everyone a squeaky duck, and they told us, next time you get a negative caller, an unhappy caller, and you end the call, squeeze your duck, quack your duck.
Yeah.
Make it something that you actually celebrate. Hey, I got another one. Hey, I survived.
Yeah.
And then go over to the whiteboard and tally it up.
And did everybody cheer?
Everyone
like,
cheered.
Terrible, terrible call. Really miserable.
Yes,
Yay!
exactly. And that's basically it. What it was is reframing what was otherwise a highly negative emotional experience into something that was just a process.
Now, that's a funny story. And there's lots of methods in this book. There's lots of practices. What's the questionnaire that I filled in? How would you describe that?
So we call that the doubt profile.
Yes.
Which helps you determine. So there are 4 pillars that drive self-doubt.
Come on.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, and it helps you determine which one of those is driving your doubt, because here's the problem. A lot of people think self-doubt is just a big blob of worry, insecurity, anxiety, fear.
Yes.
And so then they think there must be one solution.
Yes.
And so they're trying the positive affirmation or the gratitude, and it's not working for them.
Good luck with that.
Exactly. And then they end up disappointed. And it's because that's not how self-doubt works at all. When we look at decades worth of literature, when we look at my own research
you
for the
have.
last 5 years,
Yes.
it actually comes down to 4 things, or rather a deficiency in one of these 4 things. So that doubt profile that you did, that we have online, is, it allows you to determine...
What are the 4 things?
The 4 things. Okay, so the first one is acceptance. Do you accept who you are?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to dive into like a little bit about what each of these are as we go?
Whatever you like.
All right, let's do it. I'm so excited. I love talking about this topic. So if you don't accept yourself, what happens is we generally see 4 different patterns come through. The first one is the pressure to prove. So because you don't accept who you are, you feel like you have to prove yourself through achievement and titles. And the next big thing...
Numbers.
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 And what
I hate
happens...
numbers.
Chris, what happens when you finally get that thing? Do you feel like you're enough?
Well, you do momentarily, but then there's a crash, isn't there?
Completely.
Yeah.
Again, because you'll never chase that feeling of enoughness because it comes from within. So that's our first one. Where
And
you're
also,
constantly
often you were also slave to the process as well.
and you have sacrificed so much to get there. Relationships, your health, your well-being. It's not worth it. So that's the first one, pressure to prove. Second one is really common. It's the likability trap. If you don't accept yourself, you outsource your sense of worth.
Yes.
By being liked by everyone.
Yeah.
So you say yes when you mean no, you over-apologize, you don't speak up in the meeting just in case people think your idea is silly, and you sacrifice yourself in the process.
Yeah, and you suck.
And you suck.
You suck. It's not fair. You suck from the inside out, don't you?
Completely.
And suck sounds a bit like stuck. You talk about being stuck because you can be stuck in life, but actually, whenever you're stuck inside, not outside.
Exactly. It's all an internal game.
Please continue with the A's.
So that's the A's. Okay, so there's a few others with self-acceptance, but let's move on. The second one is agency. When you don't have a high degree of agency. So agency answers the question of, can I actually do this thing?
Yes.
Because if you don't believe you can do it, it means that you're doubting your capability, your skill, or your capacity to learn.
Right.
And so what happens if you don't believe you can do the thing?
Yeah.
You will not try,
Yeah.
or you'll sabotage yourself, or the first time you hit a roadblock, you say, well, see, I told you so.
Yeah, and the people who really achieve it and feel good about achieving, they take the opposite of that on every day. The counter thing to that would be what, for example?
The counter to that would be, okay, I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. Even if something is hard, that doesn't mean that I can't do it.
And you can intentionally go out and make as many mistakes today as possible for the right reasons.
Exactly.
As long as you're not hurting anyone.
Yes.
Right, third A.
Third A is autonomy, which answers the question of, do I have any control in this?
Yes.
Do I have any power?
Yeah.
And the thing with autonomy, it's so interesting. People don't even realize it's part of self-doubt. When you don't feel like you have power, you complain, you become frustrated, you blame, you're resentful, and then you stay in your comfort zone because you don't believe that your decisions have any kind of positive outcome.
And that is killer. You sell it to yourself as maintenance, but you're not maintaining, you're actually moving backwards, aren't you?
Exactly.
Because to maintain, you have to move forwards anyway.
You do.
That's sort of the lowest form of maintenance.
It is.
All right,
fourth one is adaptability, but it's different to the kind of adaptability that we understand. In the context of self-doubt, it's entirely to do with, can you adapt to the emotions that you feel?
Yeah.
Because emotions are one of the greatest ways that we get derailed when it comes to any kind of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And if we listen to the emotion, if we just take it as fact, often, again, we sabotage, we get stuck in anxiety, we can't get out of our heads. Again, it's all that inner game.
You messed with my head with this book yesterday, honestly.
Hopefully in a good way.
No, because I've read all the books.
Yeah.
But there was so much, if I find a new message in a book now, after reading literally thousands of these kind of books, then I talk about that in the interview. But there were so many new things in here. It was so good. So you qualified as a lawyer. You then went to work with your dad at the investment bank, and you were really good at both to the outside world, and you were a great student, and you really tried hard and you worked hard, you put in more than a shift, but you still felt completely unfulfilled, insecure, self-doubt from morning till night. And then you took a dance class, and that changed your life, and I believe you. Right, tell us what the dance class was, and now, because tell us the science behind why that changed your life.
So I was stuck in so much self-doubt. It was eating me up to the point that I was physically ill as a result of it.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with stress-induced...
Burnt out, everything.
Exactly.
You're a mess.
I was a complete mess. Yeah. And then I experienced this life-changing dance class. It was Latin dance, so it was salsa and bachata, super fun. But the reason why it was so transformative for me is suddenly I had something outside of work that I would look forward to, that I found a wonderful challenge. And I realized that I had been identifying my entire sense of being with my job, which meant that if things went well, great, I felt great. But if things didn't go well, if I received feedback, I took it personally. It wasn't this thing failed, it was I am the failure. Yeah,
and you're living in a permanent state of anxiety. Because even if things do go well and your end of month report's good or your appraisal's good or whatever, it's the best it gets is relief. And that's a terrible way to live.
Terrible.
And the thing about Latin American dancing is it was joyous because you need the joy.
You need the joy. You need the joy. So let's look at what the science says about hobbies. And that's what it became for me. I mean, to be honest, it became more of a hobby because I then started competing and performing, and we won 3 national dance championships.
Yeah, hurrah!
Hurrah!
Hang on a second.
But what is so fascinating is when I then looked into the research on hobbies, I found some incredible insights. What we know from decades worth of research. In fact, there was one study of over 93,000 people across 16 different countries.
That's a study.
That is a study.
Yeah.
They found that those people that have hobbies tend to accept themselves more, and they have higher self-esteem.
Because they have a broader sense of self.
They do.
You use the word broader, and that's really important, isn't it? Because if taking up one hobby gives you a broader sense of self, take another one up. Because it's even though it's only sort of 3 times the situation, it's sort of 10x the effect.
It really does. It really does. And the other thing which is fascinating with hobbies, there was another study that found that Nobel Prize-winning scientists are 3 times more likely than regular scientists to have a hobby, and 22 times more likely to have a creative hobby.
Yeah.
Now, they actually attributed, many of them said that having these hobbies is actually what allowed them to achieve amazing things because it made connections. It allowed their brain to make connections that they otherwise wouldn't have made. Yeah. And when they were having a terrible day in the lab or with their research, they had something else to go and do to remind them that that's not the end.
It's funny, isn't it? It's even one step further than that, because it doesn't remind you that it's not the end. Whenever you're doing anything, that's what you're doing. And so it gives you a complete break from it. Because if you're doing something that you really like, you actually forget. It's like having kids. Yeah. When I'm at work, I have to remember that I've got kids when I get back home again. It's not because I don't love them. It's just because when I'm at work, I'm all in at work. When I'm with the kids, I'm all in. If the kids are in a different bedroom and I'm with my wife, I'm all in with my wife. And that's the break. It's the true break. You don't even have to do the heavy lift of, this is giving me a break from, work's not as important because I can no, you're just in a it's like getting on a plane or not having to get on a plane and ending up somewhere completely different instantaneously. That's why meditation works so well, isn't it? Because you are completely in the moment, and it gives you a chance to reset. And a reset in the moment is like taking a week off when you need it.
It really is. It really is. And again, that's the power of choosing, consciously choosing to put things in place in your life Again, not because you're reminding yourself of something, but because it is fundamentally changing how you live that life.
I love it. I love your book. I love it so much. Yeah, as you can see, there's loads of notes here. We can go anywhere you're down. We're like, can you just give us the headlines from your TED Talk, your TEDx talk?
So there was this TEDx talk that I did a number of years back, and it ended up going super viral because I think the topic is so relevant for so many people. So the idea is I became fascinated by understanding this inner voice that we have, this critical voice. And I went and I started interviewing hundreds of people, and I realized, okay, well, first point, all of us have this inner voice. I say all of us, but I mean 95% because there are 5% that, you know, are sociopaths or narcissists, etc.
Do they not have the voice?
Well, so with some forms of narcissism, that is actually a form of intense self-loathing. So they have a voice, but we can't determine they have it because we rely on self-reports.
Continue, I distracted.
So it's very interesting, though. But so basically, majority of us have this voice, but it's not the same voice. There are 4 distinct archetypes that voice takes on.
So it's 4 against 1.
It's 4 against 1.
So unfair.
It's completely unfair.
Isn't it?
We call it the jerk squad because the role of these voices is not to help you. It's to try and keep you safe and protect you.
Right.
But in doing that, it keeps you stuck. So let's explore what these voices are.
Okay.
The first voice is
I told you she was good. I told you she was good.
I just get so pumped by all of this.
You are so pumped.
So the first voice is the classic judge. This is the default voice of self-doubt.
Right.
You can't do that. You're too old. You're too young. You're too fat. You're too skinny, whatever. It's just you can never do anything right. Classic judge. The second one is an interesting one. It's the misguided protector.
Right.
The role of this voice is to highlight everything that could go wrong.
Yes.
So that you don't take action because the risk is too great, and then you stay stuck.
Paralysis by analysis.
Paralysis by analysis,
Got it.
exactly. And so again, you keep yourself stuck because then you're safe, but you're completely stagnating, and it's frustrating.
He wants to be safe and stuck.
We don't want to be safe and stuck.
We don't want to be safe and stuck.
So that's our second
for
voice.
glue.
That's for glue, exactly. The third voice.
Not for you. It's for glue.
That's a good tagline. That needs to go in a mug.
This is your next book.
Yeah.
Don't be the glue. Be you.
Be you.
Sorry, carry on.
That should be your book. We'll do it together. Okay. The third voice is what we call the ringmaster. Now, Chris, I think you've heard this one, and I think this is really common for many people who take pride in their work, who enjoy what they do.
Yes.
This is that voice that tells you you have not done enough, you need to push harder, you're only as good as your job and your
Nothing
performance.
else matters other than this.
Nothing else. So if you've ever felt guilty when you take a break, this is the ringmaster's voice.
Death is easy. This is hard.
Exactly.
That kind of thing, isn't
Sleep
it?
when you're dead.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's our third voice.
Yes, because I shared with you earlier.
Yeah, exactly. We had a little chat earlier.
Yes,
and
we
I
did.
do want to acknowledge you did mention that you're a father of 5.
Yeah.
So you were remembering your kids even when you were at work.
Maybe.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So the fourth voice is the neglector. This is that voice that you hear that highlights that everyone else is more important than you, that you must prioritize everyone else's needs, and you're actually not very important.
Right.
So it gets you to neglect you.
Okay.
Really common in caregivers, in anyone who is in more of a giving role, in a lot of servant leaders who want to be fantastic for their team, but then they sacrifice themselves.
So you become subservient.
Completely.
Right.
Completely. Now, the very first thing we need to acknowledge is that this is not us, this is a voice. We don't have to believe everything we think.
Yes.
And what you can do in the moment is what's called metacognition, which means become aware of your thoughts. That's the first step, because when we're not aware of them, they are us.
Well, that's
we internalize it.
It's the first step, but that's such a revelation when that happens, because
It is.
once you glimpse it, you know it exists, and then you can think you can then set about putting in rituals and practices and a regime that will guarantee you an hourly awareness moment.
And as you said, it's so powerful to do that because you remind yourself, or rather you're living in the moment, and you're not swayed by all the things that are going on in your head.
Oh my gosh.
It's magical when you get there. It's hard. But the first step is become aware of these voices.
Yep.
When you hear one of the voices, try and call it out and be like, hey, you know what? Misguided protector. Thanks, as in, thank you for trying to protect
Thanks
me.
to a point.
But thanks to a point, but no thanks.
Yeah.
I don't need you right now.
Yeah.
It's a simple exercise you do in the moment, which creates what's called psychological separation.
Right.
So you're acknowledging, I don't have to believe you. You are just a thought. I can process you. You're like data. But I understand you have a function, and that's actually not helping me right now.
And very early on in the book, you say it's not about silencing self-doubt or that inner voice. It's about hearing it, letting it know you've heard it, taking it on board if you need it, knowing that it's a new tool in your toolkit, and then getting on with your day.
Exactly. And because that's, again, another misconception people have. They think they have to eliminate the doubt.
Yeah.
You can't. They spend their entire lives trying.
Good luck with that.
Counterintuitively, when you try and do that, it gets worse.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. So instead, you want to strengthen who you are and how you see yourself.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what the book does. It goes through these 4 attributes, the 4 A's, and helps you strengthen them.
We're talking to Dr. Shadé Zahrai about big trust. It's about self-doubt. It's a great book. We're halfway through the conversation. Please stay with us. Tell us about that moment on stage when you achieved your dream job. You'd done it before, but it wasn't not in the way you were doing it this time around. So you'd spoken in front of people before, but your dream job was to do this, to be a public speaker as a job, and it was your first time doing it in that frame, even though you'd done it hundreds of times before, and you walked on stage and you couldn't believe it because you experienced stage fright, and because this was your dream, it was the moment of your dream. The audience fell silent. You fell even more silent. And it's such a cliffhanger in the book. Yeah. And then you smiled.
I smiled.
And you said, "I'm so excited." And I thought, phew-wee, thank God for that. But this was one of your tools.
Yes. It's so simple. Okay, so I'm on this stage. Yes. I am completely frozen, which is so weird because, as you said...
So not like you.
So not like me. And I didn't know how to deal with this tsunami of emotions that was taking over me.
Yes.
And then I remembered something, because I obviously had done a lot in the dance world, and one of the world pros, the world champions in one of the dance areas I was in, she said to me, whenever you feel nerves on stage, just smile through the nerves, because the body can't really tell the difference between excitement and fear. Which is brilliant. So there I am on stage, frozen, looking at this audience, and I think to myself, hold on, let me smile right now. And I don't mean it wasn't a cheesy fake grin, it was a genuine smile. Yeah. And then I said out loud, I am so excited to be here right now.
Yeah.
And there's this fascinating study that shows that just relabeling fear as excitement.
Relabeling anything.
Relabel anything is so incredibly powerful, but that reduces your anxiety in the moment and actually helps you perform better.
Yeah, so the cork, that popped the cork out of the bottle, and out came the genie. And then you were instantly in flow.
I was.
And loads of great, there's so many great stories in the book, then there's so many great sort of exercises you can do. It's not just an interesting book, but it's a really useful handbook to help with self-doubt and to get a handle on it, and to give you listening this ability to zoom out. And look, you can't be a bit pregnant, right? You're either pregnant or you're not. And it doesn't matter how far you zoom out, whether it's 10,000 miles or 10 millimeters, zooming out is zoomed out. You've got a chance. And if you learn to zoom out for 10 millimeters, you can get to 10,000 miles pretty darn quickly, because you've just discovered the trigger, or the button or whatever you need. And the way we perceive other people is a mirror of what we're feeling inside. Tell us the scar story.
Oh, this is my absolute favorite story and study. So it's from the 70s and 80s. There's a psychology professor by the name of Robert Kleck from Dartmouth. And he conducts this study where he brings people together, splits them into groups, and with one group, he draws a scar on their face, on the right side of their face. He lets them see themselves in a hand mirror to confirm, yes, I've got a scar on my face. Then he sends everyone out into conversations with strangers. Now, they come back after the conversations and have to report how they felt the conversations went. The group with the scar reported they felt like it was tense, they were judged because of the scar, it was uncomfortable, they felt like they were discriminated against.
Now, that's a good story anyway, but wait for the twist.
Wait for it. Now, if we pause and rewind, right before everyone was sent out into these conversations, the researcher said, okay, I'm going to apply some moisturizing cream to your scar to set it so it doesn't crack. And what they did is actually remove the scar entirely. These people believed they had a scar, which they did not, which completely influenced how they felt the conversation went. And this is mind-blowing because it's an example of what's called expectation bias. We don't see the world as it is, we see it as we expect it to be because of what we pay attention to.
Yeah, you hear what you're listening for.
And you notice what's already in your mind. It's called self-verification.
Sorry, that's why manifestation works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Manifestation doesn't work woo-woo wise, but if you put something on your radar, you will then look for signs that will help you with that more, and that's why it's really worth writing your goals down.
Yes.
Whether you get there or not, as long as you sincerely want to do them. What's embodied recognition?
Oh, okay, embodied cognition.
Sorry, cognition.
Embodied cognition is one of my favorite concepts.
Yeah.
The idea is simple. You show up as the person that you want to be. If you want to get that interview, you show up to the interview as if you've already got the job. What does that mean? I'm confident. I'm lifting my gaze. Shoulders back. I am calm. I'm collected.
Yeah.
And then people are more likely to recognize you in that role.
Yeah.
You believe it more and you perform better and are more likely to get what you want.
Yeah.
If you are at a bar and you're going to ask someone out, show up as if they've already said yes.
Yeah.
Remove the pressure, remove the desperation, show up with that confidence, that calm, collected nature. And it's fascinating what the research says. When you do this, when you embody the person you want to be, you believe it more, other people believe it more, you are more likely to get that thing that you want.
Yeah, one of my favourite philosophers said, he's sadly no longer with us, he said, what do you want out of life? All right, well, imagine you've got it and act like that anyway.
It's powerful. Yeah. It is so powerful because so many people, there's this mismatch between who they are now, or this is what they see. This is who I am. That's what I want. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready. Yeah. I'm not confident enough. And they hold themselves back. Mm-hmm. Whereas what is so fascinating is all these people saying, oh no, I'm waiting till I feel confident. Confidence is the wrong goal because confidence actually comes after you take action.
Yeah. Well, people say, I like the way you're so positive all the time. I need to be more positive. And I say to them, you can't be positive. You can do things from which the consequences are positive, but you have to take action.
Yes.
It's really important. And you talk about that as well, don't you? When all else fails, move.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So when things don't work, we get stuck.
Yeah.
The inner critics come in, the classic judge, whatever it is, and we use that as a verdict that this is not for us. I can't do this. I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. And it reinforces whatever belief we have about ourselves, those inner scars that we have, going back to that scar analogy. Yeah. And again, through that expectation, we start seeing all the reasons why it's not for us. It's never going to work. That is a fallacy. You need to move through that. Take the smallest step. Say yes. Put your hand up.
Get into the physical as well.
Get into the physical, because sometimes you can't change the thought that's in your head because it's so strong and your body's responding. Yeah. But you can change it physically. It's a complete echo chamber and it bounces around.
It's horrible.
So if you can change, it makes you feel completely sick, and that's not healthy in the long run. So take an action, any kind of action. Move through your body, because what you do is create a proof point that even if I feel like this, I can still take an action.
Oh, I wish you will be able to see this on YouTube, okay? Because you've got to see Shadé. She's so good she's so good. She's got great arm and handography.
It's from the dancing.
It's from the dancing, darling. And the other thing is, you can do something really well, and there's that phrase, grinners are winners. And it's true. Grinners are winners. It's true. That does happen. I mean, you need some talent to back it up. But winners, we know, are grinners. So grinners are winners, winners are grinners. Well, they were the grinners that became the winners. And now they're grinning even more because they're winning even more. And that becomes an upward spiral. And that's like facing, the Los Angeles Lakers, on their 7-year winning streak, or Man City football team here recently. Because they are winning and they're grinning, they're out of their own way. But of course, the opposite can be true. Like Andre Agassi.
Oh, yes.
Who was, without question, the most talented tennis player of his generation. However, lost in the final of the 1990 French Open because of his hairpiece.
Because of his hair.
And this story's in the book, and you revisit it, and it's given me chills, and it's completely true.
It's completely true. It's from his memoir. So he, as a teenager, started losing his hair. And he was so deeply insecure about the fact that he's losing his hair as a teenager that he tried to conceal it. He wore a hairpiece. And so a lot of what you see in those years in the 1990s were a hairpiece. It was not his real hair. Now, what happened was, right before the final, he was the favorite to win. Yeah. Right before the final, he is washing his hairpiece and he uses the wrong shampoo or conditioner, and it starts falling apart in his hands. He is in a panic. He calls his brother. They salvage it together with 20 bobby pins.
The night before the final.
The night before the finals. Now, he says that night he prayed, not to win, but for his hairpiece to stay on. That was what he was prioritizing. So, of course, the next day comes, he is completely preoccupied with his appearance, and he loses 3-1. And he was devastated. It was catastrophic for him. Now, his girlfriend at the time, who was Brooke Shields, said, why don't you just shave your head, remove the hairpiece, take it all off? And he said, no, I'll feel naked. And she said, no, you'll feel liberated. Yeah. So he thought about it for a while, and then eventually he thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. He shed the disguise, which was his hairpiece. He embraced who he truly was. And then in 1995, he shows up and he wins 3-1. And he says, most people will say this is my best performance yet, but I will say it's my best bald, unburdened performance.
Yeah. And the front cover of his book
is him.
His bald head.
Exactly.
It's his bald head.
Completely embracing it.
It's a great story. What can we take from that?
So what we can take from that is we all do this too. Okay, maybe not with a physical hairpiece, but we are hiding parts of ourselves to make ourselves more palatable to other people. Yes.
Dr. Stutz.
Yes, exactly. Oh, and it's amazing. So when we look at what others have said in this space, when we become fixated on what other people think of us, we become hyper attuned to, do they like me? Do they love me? How are they taking this? Why did they say that?
Exhausting.
Completely exhausting, and it's all in our heads. Sometimes we just need to show up as we are, because then we are going to feel more confident, more comfortable, more certain, and then other people will respond to that. And the right people will understand and stay around.
Well, listen, we've run out of time. That was 25 minutes. That's a long time for us, right? If you want to hear more of Dr. Shadé, listen to Rangan Chatterjee's chat to her. Rangan's a great friend of the show.
Oh, fantastic.
You're amazing. This
Thank you.
book is amazing. It's so good. It's changed my life for reasons you don't even know. I only read it yesterday, and I've read all the books anyhow, and I've got a nice life. But it's still changed my life. That's how good this book is. It's out now. Thanks for joining us. So many stories. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.